Hello ladies and gentlemen, and this will be my first video on this channel. This video is inspired by both Waveman and I Was a Bag, I think is his name. Their videos on their regret tier lists of Honkai Star characters in version 3. I'm doing the same thing. Regret tier lists are nothing new, they didn't invent it, but I saw them and I wanted to do it myself, so I'm doing it. Let's go. Okay. So, V3, these are the units that I have pulled, that rather came out in V3, or have rerun, or I have pulled on, or whatever. I only added characters that came out in V3, rerun in V3 that actually pulled, and I also added some Easter egg towards the end. Like these, but I will get into these right here. To start off, we're going just by order of release. Herta, if you don't know, I'm a huge Erudition main. I pretty much own every single Erudition character in the game besides Rappa because she's break. I also did never pull any break characters. I don't have any DPSs. I did not pull the supports. I'm a strong break hater. Everyone knows this. DOT, I do have Kafka, but I did not, maybe get into it, but I did not further invest into DOT. I did not pull Black Swan V2 either. But I will get into it what my plans with that will be. Overall, I'm just someone who is completely committed to crit DPSs. I happened to pull all Erudition units. It was just kind of a thing I did. I realized, oh, I guess I like every Erudition unit. My favorite character in the game is Jade, who is Erudition. My first... No, it was Bronze, to be fair. My first standard banner character, not the starter banner character, but the standard banner character was Himiko, who is Erudition. I played Mono Fire when Topaz came out with Himiko, and that was something I used to beat MOC back in the day. I'm a big Erudition person. So of course I pulled the Herta too. The Herta gets a lot of slander nowadays because people are just very Mono Remembrance pilled. I have not pulled Monoram. I will get into it when I get there. Again, I keep spoiling my own tier list here. But I do not regret Herta ever. Initially, I was not too convinced of her performance. I felt she was pretty strong, but nothing as broken. Like, I remember in the beta, people were saying she raises the DPS ceiling, which she did. I'm pretty sure, and then Aglaea came, and then she did the same thing. Herta stopped being shielded in MOC a while ago, and as the version has continued, you as a normal average player, I'm free to play by the way, like pretty much completely free to play. I've spent a tiny bit during Phainon's banner duration, but I'll get to it when I get to him. But I'm pretty much free to play. I don't spend money on the game, flat out. My win rate is pretty good though. It's not as good as my CC win rate, but it's pretty good. So I think I have probably a bigger roster than a lot of free-to-plays do. Either way, as the version commenced, I invested more into my Herta. I got her light code. I pulled Anaxa on his initial release. I ended up pulling Tribbie on the second rerun because I just needed to. Herta needed her. And I plan to get E2 in the future of her. I really like Herta. Of course, she has been 40k PF without question. Before I had Tribbie, that was the case. After I got Tribbie, it's the case. It's gotten harder for sure, but you still see these Zero Cycle experts still pull 40k performances to Herta. I think she's really solid. She has been very shielded in both APOC and PF. Like, PF is always ice, and APOC has a lot of bosses that are AoE that help her. But she suffers really strong in single target, and Anaxa sub DPS doesn't really fix the issue that Herta single target has. And I really hope they actually make a proper sub DPS for her eventually. Because, in my opinion, Anaxa does not cut it, at least in a sub DPS. He's great at main DPS, but again, we will get to it eventually. Yeah, I don't regret her at all. She's my favorite, not favorite Erudition unit, but she's one of my favorites for sure. I had a lot of fun with her. I liked optimizing her rotations. I pulled a light cone. It was like, again, I'm an Erudition main. I have Erudition unit pulling a rather versatile Erudition light cone. Just made sense. I want E2 because I do not plan to pull any other ice characters in the future. So I hope, besides the D2, they maybe make a support for her that reduces the single target issue she has. Aglaea did not pull. There is nothing really to say. I had never pulled Aglaea. I never planned to pull her. I will never pull her. Yeah, like Aglaea just doesn't really appeal to me. As with age in the version, I think she's gotten more appealing. Like, she looked pretty fun, but the restrictions you have to deal with her, like her E1 is so available, and she wants Cyrene and all these characters I don't want. It's not worth it for fun or anything. But I like Aglaea. I think she's cool. Tribbie. I did not pull Tribbie on the initial banner. I did not pull in a rerun banner because it was parallel to Phainon, who I pulled really hard on. And I did not have enough pulls left to even try for her. I mean, I did try, it just didn't get nerfed or anything. I got a second rerun. I'm pretty happy that I got away with not pulling Tribbie for so long. Like, Herta is now 1 year old, by the way. Happy birthday. Yeah, this character just never appealed to me. And now that we're going into V4, people are arguing, like hardcore meta slaves arguing that E0 Tribbie has very little value, which is funny because I eventually was forced to pull her. Oh my god. Because I have her. I have a lot of AoE units, so it just makes sense. I would say when time passes, I would not pull E1 Tribbie ever. Not even for Herta. I would just bank that there's gonna be a newer support that is better. Like characters before her. I would not pull her again. But I'm glad I have a singular copy of her, but I will not pull again. She served some use. She pretty much is used for both my face shower team and my Herta team. So I was even happy overall, but I would not pull again. Mydei didn't pull, didn't appeal to me. I don't have much to say about him. Castorice is the same. I pulled Castorice on the initial banner. I was pretty happy with Castorice. Like, Castorice design-wise really appeals to me. I liked her story. But the Mono Remembrance team, every single unit in the team, is not for me. I don't like them at all. And I hate the playstyle that was encouraged with Mono Remembrance. Every single time I use Castorice now, it's when I summon the dragon and use all 3 turns because I play it as a sustain or like as a nuke bomb for something. Like, the most fun I've had with Castorice lately, because I don't have any of her supports, was when there was this one epoch where I played Herta DPS and Castorice as a sustain. I had no actual sustain. That was the most fun I had with Castorice in like months, basically since I released. The team with Armsy and Galahar, where you actually had to pay attention to your rotation and your charging, and even the one with Sunday, where you actually didn't blow up the dragon every time, are just more fun. They're more cool. I don't know why they just completely dumped the 3-turn dragon into the garbage, because I think it's just a superior playstyle. So I can't say I regret Castorice because her global passive alone is really useful, but I got very little leverage out of her, and I'm just sad what her playstyle has become, and a lot of people now that Evernight has released are just saying that she has like no value, which is crazy. But yeah, and with Castorice release, there was also Jiaoqiu. I obviously regret this unit. I pulled Jiaoqiu because I initially did not pull him for my Acheron, my ECRS1 Acheron, and she fell off the cliff like crazy. Like, she's one of these characters that got heavily punished by her own personal restriction with Nihility and also the HP inflation. I did not pull Cipher either. I will get to it later. I have no interest. I think Jiaoqiu rerun and then the Cipher release a patch after is an absolute joke. I feel like that's actually a scam and I should sue Hoyoverse. Because no fucking way. You know? Like, of course you can make Jiaoqiu and Cipher or Silverwolf or whatever, but then you know, like this combination of rerunning Jiaoqiu, then power creeping with Cipher, and then buffing Silverwolf, so you have two characters that power creep him, and also just more universal to use than him. It's just absolute joke. I genuinely believe I was scammed, and I'm pretty upset about it. But yeah, fuck this guy. Yeah, Anaxa, I don't know. Everyone glazes this guy, he's fine. I play Vincent Anaxa, he's one of my, with Herta and Phainon, my 3 only characters that can clear content. Because everything else is like too outdated. 2 with MFA Shao clears now, 2 with Tribbie and my invested Danheng. But yeah, he's better as a main DPS than he is as a sub DPS. I think he's fine. He's like the hottest character design in the game. But I'm just annoyed that he's not that great as a sub DPS to Herta than Evernight is to Castorice, pretty much. Hyacine didn't pull, whenever pull, I did not for the propaganda. I can't believe the most chill this character has seen was from a random combat event that was this patch. Whatever. Cipher, I love her in the story, but I just have no interest in getting her, because again, I was scammed with the Jiaoqiu pull, because I was like, I will not just base my pulls on what ifs, you know, and it bit me in the ass. I should have just believed in power creep. If I didn't pull Jiaoqiu, I would have probably pulled her, and maybe I would have played Macaron a bit more, but I'm like kind of comfortable not using Macaron. Sorry. The most recent time I've used Acheron was the last patch on night 1, after resetting like 4 times to clear in 2 cycles. With Jiaoqiu, Acheron, Tribbie, and then also Sustain. I'm just really annoyed with Acheron's current team options and lineup, and like just, you know, the lineup, there's not really any lightning weak most of the time. I don't really like playing Acheron anymore, and I refuse to invest in this character further horizontally. I'm waiting for a buff, and I'm not touching her team archetype whatsoever otherwise. Fuck Hoyo, okay? Put the E2 restriction in the base kit, and we can fucking talk about it, okay? Fuck this. Phainon, my favorite character in the game. I have him E2. It's the only character I ever pulled E2 for. So far. I'm very happy with him. The E2 made me able to scam some cost on other teams or like his team rather, so I could use the strong supports on other teams, which helped me greatly clearing and breathe. My only regret with the E2 is the E2 by itself is too fucking busted, and I would rather have the playstyle of the E2 in the base and a bit less of the damage. You know, but that's how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. I don't regret the E2 at all. I don't regret this character at all. He's my favorite. I fucking cheese every fucking boss in the game. I tend to 0 cycle. At worst, I 1 cycle. The reason because of this is because I skip Cerydra, I will get into it. So, since I went broke on my Phainon, I wanted to initially save for Cyrene E2S1 or something, but by the end of a beta and then by her release, I decided or realized that she's just a dud on my account, and pulling E2, I mean, she would be really good at E2, but I just did not like how her Alons turn out with the E2. Like, there's better E1s of other supports that, I don't know, do more for my account and stuff. Like, there's like 2 extra over 3 limit that I could use that would actually help my account more. Like, there's a lot of reasons why I did not pulling. I just didn't really end up liking a lot of her. So, since I did not pull Cyrene, my savings went somewhere else. But yeah, I skipped Cerydra and Hysilens because I was saving for Cyrene. I'm free to play. Oh yeah, I forgot to say. Phainon, I spent a bit about the battle pass with the icon, and I bought 1 monthly pass, and then I topped up $20 so I can get the last 30 pulls for the soft PD for the E2. That was the only time I spent money on the Phainon banner, and then I stopped. So I'm free to play again. Yeah, so I skipped Cerydra and Hysilens because I was saying for Cyrene. I regret not pulling Cerydra, but I will get her in V4. I regret it, but not to an insane degree, because my clear times are insane. I have E2. They will just be more insane if I had Cerydra. I still think Cerydra's kit ended up being really fucking weak. Most of her talents don't do anything or traces. Like, her aliens after E1 are fucking trash. Like, they ruined this character in some way, but it's good enough for these two. But yeah, I regret not getting her. Not getting her means my Cyrene would have been even more useless. That's why I didn't get Cyrene. Hysilens, I skipped intentionally again. The main reason is because I was not sure if investing into DUT was gonna be something that would age well. Like, what if I pull Hysilens and then they shield DUT for like 2 patches and then it dies immediately in V4? I have reconsidered, and I will pull very strongly into DUT. I will get E1S1 Hysilens, probably, if I can. And whatever else DUT shit they will hopefully bring out in V4 and make an actual DUT team. It seems to be always usable in anomaly arbitration. I have a Kafka. There are certain informations that say that something will happen to Kafka, so I might be able to get an E2 Kafka if I feel like it. Yeah, I'm actually feel some promise in DUT as long as I actually fully invest into it. And I might skip Elation as a whole, depending what other Elation characters are coming out. So DUT it is. Evernight, I skipped. Again, I killed my Castorice. I didn't like this character. Didn't feel like this character would make any difference. Don't care for much. Yeah, I pulled E1S1 Danheng. He was free, but this is where my savings went from skipping both Cerydra and Hysilens. I pulled E1S1 Danheng out of protest because I skipped Cyrene for multiple reasons. I'm very happy with him. The E1 is like really strong and helps a lot of my other characters too. So I'm just a happy camper, honestly. Yeah, again, Cyrene, I just didn't end up liking anything of a kit. I don't like it. I skipped Saber. I did not pull anything for Archer. I did build Archer, but I just have no use for him because I don't have Sparkle. So if Sparkle has a rerun and, you know, she gets a buff, wink wink, I will pull her. Where is she? There she is. Otherwise, you know. Dahlia, I skipped because I, again, have never invested into Break and I never will. Leftovers. I would just pull Tribbie here because it's true. I don't know, there's no character I would say I would pull again. I would not have pulled Danheng if he wasn't free. I put the E1 because it has really good value for my card. Yeah. Yeah, for the leftover units, I plan to get E2 Phainon and E2 Herta. This is this Herta. In V4. This is Phainon is just in Herta again. I like characters I just really like, and I want them to live as long as possible. So I will get the E2. Sparksy is a character. Sparky is a character that I ended up growing really into. So I would like to have her. But it really depends how Elation will turn out. If it's just another monoram, flagship bullshit, and all the other supports I don't like the monoramarians, I will not pull this character. From the silhouettes we saw, one looks very much like Blade, and the other looks like Silverwolf. Depending what these characters turn out to be, I will pull them, depending on what they do. I like Blade a lot. But again, I've not played the new buff Blade because I don't have any of his buffers. He's kind of weak still. And I have E2, and his E2 is just crit rate, by the way. Yeah, if Blade ends up being a sustain, I will literally cry. But I would not pull him if he was a sustain. Same with Silverwolf. If Silverwolf is a sub DPS for a character I currently own that would like to buff, be it Akron, Phainon, Herta, whoever, I would probably pull her at E0. And that's pretty much it. And again, I will pull Cerydra in V4 as well. So this is my regret and pull plans for V4 at the same time. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.